We have this tree that I just started working on. It's really, I have to admit, it's maybe a little bit too extreme in some areas and then not extreme enough in others. You could always take a look at, some tree structures online, or take your own photos, or just observe trees. I mean, the simple kind of tree structure is fairly, basic, but then when you look at it from below or above, you see how kind of they are much more complicated. But we could start out with something sort of more basic. So we're going to use something called a mesh sweep to do it. So I'm just going to take all of my things that I have here so far and put them on a layer, and then just hide that layer. You can also use that if you ever want to use layers to just make something so that you can't click on it. That's helpful too. But I'm just going to hide that and put all this into a group. So anyway, so it doesn't bother me. All right, so let's just look from maybe the front view. We'll start from the front view. We'll go to Create, CV Curve Tool, and then we're just going to start at the 0, point, more or less. Doesn't have to be exact. And then I'm just going to draw my main trunk. And if you want, you could go ahead and maybe add a sub trunk. Just remember that you can just press return when you are done with your line. And then you can take a look at them maybe from here just to take a look. And then you can keep on adding more elements. I'm just going to go back to my side toolbar on the left here to get the tool again. And just keep on adding divisions. Okay, press return when you are done with your division. I'm not going to make mine too complex right now, just to show you all, but just to kind of begin to show how this will work. So then let's take a look at we'll do the main branch first. Hopefully you can see those. You can also edit your lines before you add the mesh sweep if you wish, by holding right mouse click and hold on the line, and use the controlled vertex. It's a little bit like using the vertice function in meshes, in polygons. Okay, so let's just take that one line and let's just add a sweep. There's a number of ways to do this, but let's just do it this way for today. Go to Create. We're going to use the mesh sweep tool. If you want, you can look at the settings, but they're really basic. Apply and close, and you see it's really, really clunky, but that's okay. Let's scale down the profile. You can use the slider here if you want, or you can type in a number. Maybe I'll put in 0.2 since it's the top, and then we're going to taper it. Maybe I'll taper it down to 0.2. You can see that it tapers pretty finely there. You can also, this is important in interpolation, you want to go to start to end, and then you can even add some more here. Basically that makes it so that it has some more divisions. You can see it if you look at it there. Go back to my mesh sweep creation. You can also add some twist if you wish. That just adds some, sort of, I guess what you would think of as a natural kind of quality to it. Okay, so then you can do the same thing with these. You can go back up to Create and do sweep mesh. Again, it looks terrible, but that's all right. We'll just bring this down maybe to 0.2, maybe smaller since it's an upper branch. Make sure to bring this down. Maybe this needs to go down a little bit too, and maybe that taper is a little bit too much. And then remember this, you can add some more. You can add a little bit of a twist. You could even bring this down to, it's up to you how you want to do it. You can always press G on your keyboard for the last function. So then, again, it's really way too big. The scale profile needs to be much smaller, sorry. And twist a little bit. But see how the twist doesn't work so well if you haven't done the interpolation. So let's do that, start to end, and then your twist is much smoother. Okay, just keep on working with that however you wish. Make sure to taper. And you can add a little bit of a twist. I'm just gonna do, you make sure to save your work every now and then. Press G, it's the last done. Tape, go down, twist, and bring it, or that. And then you can twist, and I guess that's all I have for right now. If you want, you can then take your vertices and you can use soft select. The quick mode for soft select is to press B as in boy. So now I have it on, now I have it off. The other way to do it is to double click your tool and look here, off and on. A quick way to increase the soft select is to hold your B key and use your middle mouse, press down in your middle mouse, and then you can increase the amount of soft select. The other way to do that is to increase it here. Okay. So then you could add a little bit of crookedness as you feel it makes sense to with your tree. Okay. You can also close up your the edges of your top. I'm going to turn off soft select by pressing B. I'm going to double click there with the edges. I'm going to shift and right mouse click and use fill hole. That's also up here under the mesh menu there. So, and then before you leave that alone, let's do that again. Shift right mouse click, and we're going to use bevel edge. And then I just want you to play around here with the amount of bevel, because you can see there that you can make your branches a little nicer in terms of just the kind of look of them. So you could go around there and keep doing the fill hole and the bevel. Whoops. Let's undo that bevel edge, and then you can add some more fragments, some more sections. And then when you want to use soft select, press B. Again, you can increase your soft select if you wish. That way, when you, let's see, what do we say we want to do a little bit that way. You can kind of keep playing around with making your tree more organic. Again, so edge, double click to get your edge. You can turn off soft select because you don't need it for that. I'm gonna press F to focus, shift right mouse click, fill hole. I think I have, yeah, there we go. And shift right mouse click, bevel edge, add some to it. You can play around with these things. And then when you want to use soft select, you can turn it back on and add again to the kind of irregularity of your form. Okay, you can also choose the original line if you wish that you made. Let's see, which one is that? So say you wanted to edit one of these, which one is it? That one. You can still edit it and the mesh is still live, which is kind of fun. So I'm going to go to Control Vertex. It's kind of hard to see them there. And then if you move it, your mesh responds too. So say I wanted to do the bottom one and I kind of want it to be more inside of that trunk there. So anyways, this is just kind of the beginning of how this works. And once you have, like if you're finished with your curves here, I'm just going to press 4 to get them. You can, let's see, you can also center the pivot of them if you wish, if that's irritating, and you can make sure the lines are there inside of the, you can play around with that. Another thing you can do, say you've finished with messing with the curves, you can just get rid of their relationship to the mesh by going to delete history. If you don't have this little button here, I'm just going to press it and that deletes my history. You can go up to edit, delete by type history. And then actually you can get rid of these curves, and because you always want to try to keep your scene as clean as possible. And then if you wish to kind of mess around with the some of the elements of the object here, and it's sort of irritating you how the pivot point is at the bottom there, you can press spacebar for a quick hotbox center pivot. But say we wanted to move the pivot point down to the bottom of the branch there, you press and hold D as in dog. D is a good key today. And then you can kind of place the pivot point there in the center. Again, it's D as in dog, because then if you have the pivot point at the base there, that can be helpful in terms of moving that around. You might also need to go into your edge mode. Maybe you would do, you know, the edges around the bottom with soft select on, and you can kind of like scale them in a little bit to fit into, you know, the bottom there. Okay, so there's lots of things you can do to try to make it look more natural. We'll come back to this next time, but that's it for today. We're gonna do some more, and you can do different kinds of extrusion too. This is just the sweep mesh, but you can also extrude along lines with a polygon. We'll talk more about that, but that's it for today.